When packing your doll, the first step is to remove her wings so they won't be in the way and get squished. And you can put them in an envelope separate from the rest of the doll. What I like to do is I get a plastic bag and wrap the doll in it. This way it keeps her hair away from the foam from my packaging. And it keeps the hair all facing down and more smooth rather than getting all mussed up. Then next I have a piece of foam that I cut out to match the size of the box that I'm using. And then I just place her on top of it, decide how I want her to be situated, and then I draw a line around her. So I have this left, and I'll be cutting this out with a sharp serrated knife. Here's what it looks like once I've removed the piece I cut out. And what I do is I usually just pull up on part of it and then stick the knife down in there and kind of cut it at an angle. So it ends up being probably actually 4 or 5 sets of cuts that I've had to do to get it to all come out. And then first in the box I'll put some packing pellets or some paper. I'll add something to add more cushion underneath this foam box. Once I have the doll sitting in her foam, I take some batting as well, and I'm going to be tucking it around her head and her sides, just so she is really wedged in there gently. And then I'm going to be cutting the top of this so it can kind of hold her in. But since her legs poke out, I'm going to need to cut off this top part. So I'll shape that with my serrated knife and then show you the results. So here's how it looks. Just has a wedge cut out, so it's going to fit securely there. And on this doll's hands, her hands are so close to her legs that there's not really a need to add protection to them. Usually I'll put cotton balls or something around them if they're outstretched, but where they're close to the body, they're going to be fine like that. And then I'm going to be tying this around here so that gives a little bit more space, and so there's no pressure on this part where her hands are. Next I just tie this foam in place. Alright, so that's how she looks now, and you can see you could pick this up, turn it over, and there's really not movement from the doll. So those are nice and secure. I added a little bit more fluff to keep the hands safe there. And I'm making sure there's no pressure on the hands. And then I'm going to put this in my box and then cover it with packing peanuts. Since my box is rather tall, I've put some packing paper at the bottom that will go beneath the foam first. Here's the foam box within the shipping box, and you can see it's several inches down to the doll, so if something were to happen in shipment, like in this got pressed down or squished somehow, you want to keep the doll as safe as possible. So I'll have all those packing peanuts around her as well, so any kind of pressure on it won't affect the doll. Now that we have these great little air pockets that come in the mail, I'm going to use these too to kind of keep, again, more pressure, everything away from the feet. And so now that I've filled this in a bit, now I'll add the peanuts. Now we've filled it all in. So what you want is to be able to close the box and just have the peanuts be touching, not having to be pressed down in, just to be touching. You want it to be so that when the box is completely closed, you can pick it up and you can shake it around and there's no movement. If anything's sloshing around in there, then you need to go back and repack. But if you've done it the way I've shown you, then this way of packaging is excellent. And it's great to have no movement. That means there won't be anything shaking around, getting jostled, and breaking. For the wings, I'm just wrapping them in some bubble wrap that I will enclose with some tape so it makes a little envelope for them. And then I usually just tuck them over where it's a little bit lower so they're going to be in there nice and secure without being squished. And then I add the certificate of authenticity and ready to seal and ship. Once you seal your package well, the last step is to weigh your package and then print out the postage. Be sure to purchase insurance when you ship your doll, just to make sure that you're covered in case anything should happen to her. I hope you enjoyed learning how to ship your art doll safely.